अवज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 12, verse number 13. We read about Dhruva Maharaj's battle with the Yakshas and how Manu came and dissuaded him to stop. And after Manu left, then Kubera came there. And he congratulated Dhruva that Dhruva was able to listen to his grandfather and give up the anger, which is very difficult to give up. And then he also corroborated what Manu had said, that actually nobody is killing nobody. It is all arranged by time. And all this idea that this is me, this is you, this is because we are like in a dream state, identifying with the body, and then we get into these different problems, getting angry, jealous, envious, fighting. So he recommended to Dhruva that you are a devotee, therefore you take shelter of the Lord, worship him, and he is the supreme master existing everywhere. And he asked him to take a boon from him. So Dhruva Maharaj said that, bless me that I always remember the Lord. So Kubera blessed him and then he left. Dhruva Maharaj came back to his capital and he engaged in the service of the Lord, performed many sacrifices, and he was very much devoted to the Lord, so much so that he was seeing the Lord everywhere. And people were very happy with him. They considered him just like their father because he was so protective and caring. So now this verse 13 describes that how he ruled. Said Sattrinshad Varsa Sahasram Shashasa Kshiti Mandalam Bhogaihi Punyakshayam Kurvanna Bhogaira Subhakshayam Dhruva Maharaj, he ruled over the earth for 36,000 years. No elections. Now they have elections every 4 years in America. They spend billions of dollars. This for this. So imagine how much money they would have spent in 36,000 years. So he ruled for 36,000 years and very peacefully. And whatever pleasures came to him, he considered this, that his piety is being exhausted. And he performed various vratas to diminish the impiety or sins if there were any. Evam bahu savam kalam mahatma vichalendriyaha tirvarga apaikam nitva putraya dhanvipasanam. So in this way he ruled for a long period of time, being fixed and not being influenced by the senses. He supplied dharma, artha, kama to everybody, and finally he installed his son on the throne. And manyamana idam vishwam maya rachitam atmani avidya rachita swapnaga gandharva nagropam. Then he considered that this universe is creation of Maya, and therefore there is no need for him to be involved. Just like when one dreams at night, which is a creation of avidya, then one may see a city in the sky. So there is no city, but one sees this in the dream. So like that he also saw that this world is also creation of Maya. So commentaries by Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Abhogai Vrat Niyavadi Bhir Asubhat Shen Kurvan Kartumaksham. That he also followed austerities to diminish his sinful activities, or rather desiring to diminish them, although he did not have any, he still to set a standard for others. Atra tumo arthe satri pratyay. So here the word is used kurvan, which is kri dhatu, and vartamane kridanta, meaning that kurvan means while doing the bad karma less. So he says that here this kurvan means kartum. It has to be seen in the sense of tum means desiring to do it. Although the form is kurvan, but it should be taken to mean as kartum, ichcham. So tumini cha sarvatra ichcha ichchatir akshep labdhaya bhakti. Because wherever you apply this suffix tum, which means to do something, to go, to eat. He went there to see something, he went there to eat. So in Sanskrit you apply suffix tum on the verb, and the word you get is bhoktum, kartum, gantum. Near the words you get. So all these words, they have an inherent desire in it. Because if you go there to eat means you go there with a desire to eat. So desire is understood, and therefore he translates this in the sense of desiring to diminish the bad karma. Otherwise, why he wants to give this meaning is that Dhruva Maharaj has no bad karma. So why was he doing this? Why the statement said that he was diminishing his bad karma as if he had a bad karma? Because he did not have. So therefore the meaning is with the intention to diminish if there is bad karma. Yatha devdatto bhoktum vrajti iti yatra bhoktum icchan vrajti iti artha labdha. So if someone says that Devdatta goes to annuity to eat, So it means he goes to enmity with the desire to eat. Desire is understood. So here also, tasya punya pap kshaya chikesha danyane. So therefore his desire to diminish his sin and piety is only out of humility. Otherwise, as a great Vaishnava, he does not have any piety, does not have any sin. He is beyond both of them. But just out of humility he is thinking, and therefore he follows. Vastutastu utpanna prematvat tasya punna pape naivasta. Therefore he says that in reality, because he has attained prema, love for God, so he does not have any punya or papa, any piety or any sin. Because these are for materialistic people. Bahava samvatsara yatra tam trivarga upyoginam kalam nipalam. So many thousands of years passed, and he utilized this time to supply the needs of people. Whether they were economic needs or basic needs of life, and also engaging them in religious deeds. Idam maya rachitatvat satyam api atmani avidya taya rachitai swapnam gandharva nagari sarupmaya satat asatyam ivanubhavam. So this world he was seeing as created by Maya. So created by Maya does not mean that it is not real. It is real, but he was feeling it not to be real, just as we see dreams. Because dreams, in one sense, they are real, because they are also creation of ignorance. But they are not real in the sense when we wake up, then we don't find anything but we are observing. So it is not real in that sense. So he also started seeing the world like that. Means he became dispassionate, completely disinterested in all the worldly activities. That is the implication. So then what did he do? Says Atma Trayapatya Sruhido Valam Riddha Kosham Antapuram Parivihara Bhuvascharamyaha Bhumandalam Jaladhi Mekalam Akalaya Kalopasishtam iti Sayapraya Vishalam. So he saw that all this world, which contained his own body, his wife, children, friends, army, his treasury, and the inner quarters, palace, and the wonderful kingdom which was up to the ocean. So all this he understood that everything is under the control of time. So this is what we've been reading, this time factor is very important, because so internet is also gone. Why it is not working?
It's because the inverter is not. Sanatan said that at 6 o'clock he would switch off the inverter down because the load is too heavy.
So why don't you ask me?
Yeah.
He's just outside.
He's outside?
Yeah, at least he wasn't. Just go outside.
Yeah, I'm looking for my phone, but I didn't switch it off.
What is the problem with devotee?
I'm not sure, but it seems ever since those rats or mice were in the way, that there's, I don't know if that's still the problem or still working on that. But he's been working on it ever since that then.
Problem here. Monkey problem, rat problem, dog problem. See, there was a fire in our electric room because one rat went inside and cut the thick wire and got short-circuited and everything got burnt. Big fire.
He has gone to the basement. He has gone to the basement, so it's on now.
It's coming. Internet is still struggling.
Your phone is on silent mode.
No internet. That thing is not on.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, now
But it
it
may
came.
take 1 or 2 minutes.
It came now. You have to start it again.
I will do that.
Turn it off.
How are you?
It came and then it went off. Is it on?
Yeah, it's on. But you have the sign there because something
No,
takes
it's not. Sign came.
and it went up again. Should we remove that wire? Is it coming?
Remove it and put it again. There's light there?
Yeah.
It's not coming.
Should I pause it?
Column.
So it should also work, right?
Okay, anyway, we can continue.
Pause.
So he saw all this under the influence of time. Kalopsrishtam iti satvaya visam. So under the influence of time means that everything as if already under the control of death. Means all these things as if they are already dead. And therefore he left and he went to Vishala, Badrinath. So that's where Dhruva went. So Atma Deha Tadadikam Sarvam Kalena Upsristam Grastam iti Akalya Vishalam Badrikasam. So just explain that he went to. Which means he lost interest in everything. Because he realized that there is no point in that. And then what did he do there? That is being described now. Tasyam Vishuddha Karana Sirvari Vigahaya Baddha Samunjitamarun Manasa Hatakshaha स्थूले दधार भगवत प्रतिरूपे तद ध्यायंस्तदव्यवहितो व्यसुजत समाधौ. So he went there and with purified senses he took bath in the river of Ganga. Ganga flows there, which is called here as Sivabari, which has auspicious water. And then he sat on an asana. So now there is a very big controversy about the asanas in America. They are saying that all these asanas, they have been copied from Europe, from the gymnastics. This was all gymnastics before in Europe, and Iyengar's guru Krishnamachari, he just copied it and made it as yoga asanas. But asana is mentioned, Dhruva was also doing the asana. So maybe he was also in the Europe. This Vishala, you have to figure it out somewhere in Europe, in the Alps somewhere. So he sat in the asana, and then he performed pranayama, controlled his life hairs, and then he controlled his mind and the senses, and fixed his mind completely on the inner, the gross form of the Lord, this Virat Rupa. So and then when his mind was completely fixed on this Virat form, the universal form, then finally he gave up that also, and he was in the state of trance or samadhi. So this is what he did. Vishuddha Karna ityadini yamadi ashtangani bhagavad pratinidhi rupe virat rupe. So he followed the Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, etc. he was already following. And then he meditated on the universal form, means seeing this universe as representative of God. So he did dharana on that. Etad dhyan avyaveta bhagavad srupe vavdham sunyasan samadhastita tat sthulam vasridat. And then he gave up the meditation on the gross form and meditated on the supreme or transcendental form of the Lord. So this is how he was meditating. So then it is being described. Bhaktim haro bhagavati prahavanna jasram Ananda Vaspakalaya Murardhamana Viklidyamana Hridaya Pulakachitango Natmanam Asmaradaso Iti Muktalingaha. So he was completely absorbed in devotion to Lord Hari, and so much in bliss that he manifested the ecstatic symptoms on his body. And again he will lose consciousness. So Viklidyamana Hridaya Pulakachitanga, his heart was completely melted and his hair standing on end. He did not remember himself, he was so absorbed, means he was not conscious of his own body, because he was absolutely free from any attachment. Mukta Linga means became free from any attachment to gross or subtle body. So Vishnu Chakravarti says that Etatcha sarvam tatratyanam yoginam sadachar sanmanartham dvitri dinameva anurodhena chakar. Says that all this meditation which is being described here on the universal form and sitting on the asana and doing pranayama. He did this only for 2-3 days, not more. And that is because there were yogis there. So he just wanted to feel homely and make them also feel comfortable, so that they don't think that this strange guy is not doing yoga. Because Himalaya is supposed to be the place of the yogis. So devotees go there, then they also behave like yogis, so that yogis can feel that he is also one of us. So he followed the custom, as they say, that when you are in Rome, then do as Romans do. And if you are in Israel, then do as the Jews do. So he was also doing it like that. But inside he was a devotee. So if you go there, you also behave like that, but inside remain devotee.
Better not to go there.
Better not to go, but if you have to go, then you better do like them. Otherwise they'll kill you. Are you?
You can.
So just to give respect to them, sadachar sammanartham. Devotees are very humble. Vastutastu yoga tasya avkasa eva nasti. So really speaking, he had no opportunity for practicing yoga because he was so much drenched in devotion that where was the time for him? And if you are relishing chanting the name of the Lord, he was already initiated in the mantra, and he was seeing the form of the Lord, and where is the time for doing pranayama? Who wants to do this pranayama? So even Prem he does not like to do. And when he has to teach, he does this. So therefore he says, Bhaktim Haro Bhagavati Prabhahan. He was carrying devotion to Lord. And there is nothing more blissful than devotion. It is most satisfying, as we have been reading again and again, and in the very beginning also, that there is nothing which gives satisfaction to the heart but devotion. You can try all these things, all the asana, pranayama. They are good in the beginning, like a child gets some toy to play and feels happy for a while, and then when he feels hungry, then he gives up the toy and he wants food, right? He cannot go on playing with the toys. So like that people do asana pranayama, but after some time they also get bored with it and they look for something higher. So that is only bhakti. So therefore he also made a show for a few days. And then he was absorbed in his bhakti. Iti hetoreva muktalinga. And that's why he was free from the bodily attachment. Because without bhakti it is not possible to give up this bodily attachment. Simply asana and pranayama. If you become free from bodily attachment, how will you do asana and pranayama? You cannot do asana and pranayama if you are not attached to the body. You are working with the body only. So he is called here as Mukta Deha. So Natu Yoga Dheto. So he was not performing this practice of yoga for the sake of yoga. That was not his goal. That he wants to attain perfection in yoga. Just like these yogis, modern day yogis, they are not doing yoga for the sake of yoga. Right? They are also not doing it for the sake of yoga. They are doing it for something else, to become healthy, to enjoy. That is not the goal of yoga. So Dhruva was also not doing it. Of course, Dhruva had a higher purpose. He says, Natu yoga dhetariti. Dharasthe karma yoga vairagya stanga yogasya tasya lok pradarsanarthak eva babhuva. So when he was ruling in his kingdom, then he was practicing karma yoga to set standard for the people of his kingdom so that they also follow his example. And when he gave up that and he became renounced and went to Badrikashram, then he was following Ashtanga Yoga, that also to show them, so that people don't lose faith, because those people who do not have faith in bhakti and have faith in Ashtanga Yoga and they see Dhruva Maharaj not doing Ashtanga Yoga, then they may also lose interest in the Ashtanga Yoga, and they don't have faith in Bhakti Yoga, so they will be nowhere. Sometimes it happens that those who are advanced people, they are not practicing common things, and the common devotee who is not that level, he also does not practice, because he is not doing, so we are not supposed to know. So that's why it is said that na buddhi vedam janeva jnanam karma samginam. Krishna says that don't disturb the intelligence of people, because everybody has to work according to one's own level. Krishna says that Ariyukshamunar yogam karma karanam uchyate. That person who is trying to become perfect in yoga, then he has to perform karma. And yoga rudhasya tasya, one who has already become situated in yoga, then he gives up karma. So one has to engage and one has to give up. So one who is a teacher, because king is an ideal person, everybody respects, especially in India. In the past, kings were seen like gods, they are representative of Vishnu. So everybody had a lot of honor and respect for them, and their behavior was very much observed. As Krishna says, Yaded acharti sreshta tattadeva tadeva. Whatever a great person performs, a common man follows. So keeping that in mind, he was acting like this. It says lok pradarshanath. So lok sangham eva sampancham kartam arhasi. Krishna says that even keeping in mind the standard for people, you deserve to act. Even though a realized person need not act in the material world, there is no need for him to act. But it is prescribed for him to act for the sake of others. Otherwise he should go and live in a solitary place. So that's what Dhruva Maharaj did. He was an ideal example. Then what happened when he was living like this? Then something very interesting happened. And one day he spotted the aliens. Came there. So sadadarsa vimanagram navaso avtara dhruvaha vibhrajayad dasalisho rakapati nivoditam. And suddenly he saw a plane descending on a mountain, and it was very effulgent, right? These things are very effulgent beings. So he navaso avtarat vibhrajayat. It was glowing in all directions. Dasa, 10 directions were glowing when this plane came and landed there. And Raka Pati Nivodita. It is as if moon himself has descended there. Sometimes when the sun or the moon is coming, if you are on the mountain, it looks like it is coming from the behind of the mountain. So it appeared just like that. Again, the moon was hanging on the mountain, big full moon. So he saw this plane, and Tatra Vimane, then he also saw 2 people coming out of it. Tatranudev pravrau chaturbhajau syamo kisora varnambujekshano sthitavashtabhya gadau suvasasau kirita haranga davaruna kundalau charu kundalau. So he saw that there were two very beautiful persons who came out from this plain, and they were standing holding their club, like you take support from a stick, so taking support from their club, and they had four arms and very beautiful blue blackish body, young, and they had very nice eyes like lotus flower. And they had yellow dress, nice crown on their head, and beautiful ornament, necklace, and also armlets, bracelets, and earrings. Like now there is fashion for earrings also. So this is an old custom. Men also used to wear earrings before, but both, not one. Only Balram has one earring. He is the only one who has. He's called Eka Kundala. That's one of his names. So he is like the modern people having one only. He is the original of this fashion. Original of this fashion. But here he said that they were kundalau, they had both. And these kundal were very beautiful, fancy design. Not these small ones, but big hanging. So he saw these two persons, and he was not scared by seeing them. He did not run away. He could understand, and it is described there. Vigyaya tavat tamagayika kinkara vibhuttita sattva savismita kramaha nanama namani grinan madhudusha parsad pradhana viti sangatanjali. So he was able to understand immediately that they are the servant of Lord Krishna. So tavat tam gai kinkara. So Lord is called here as Uttam Gaya Kinkara, means who is glorified with beautiful verses. And therefore he immediately stood up. And he was so much in happiness and ecstasy that he even forgot how to receive them. Because when great personalities come, there is a proper order how you receive them. You have to carry some object in your hand, water pot, coconut, lamp, whatever, some auspicious items. So he forgot. So he immediately paid obeisances to them, the Nama, and then he was chanting the name of Krishna. Jai Govinda, Jai Girdhari, Jai Vasudeva. So like this he was saying, Namani Giranan Madhu Dusha and Parsan Pradhano Viti Samhitanjali. He was standing in front of these two associates of the Lord with his folded hands. Sadvasena Sambramena Vismrit Puja Krama. He forgot the order of worship, and Kevalam Tasya Namani, he was only chanting the name of the Lord, Jai Narayana, Jai Gopala, Jai Govinda, because devotees, they like to hear the names of the Lord. It's like you meet devotees, then you say Hari Bol, Jai Radhe, Jai Govinda. Here in Vrindavan you say that. So like that he was also chanting, because this is the pleasure of the devotees. Tam Krishna Pada Vinivishta Chetasam Baddhanjalim Prashranam Rakandharam Samundanandavupasritya Sasmitam Pratyavuchutu Puskaranav Sammatau. So when these two associates of the Lord, they saw Dhruv Maharaj, who was standing there with folded hands and in a very humble mood. So, and his mind was completely absorbed in the lotus feet of the Lord. Then they spoke to him in the following words while smiling. So the associates, they were very happy, and their names are described here as Sunanda and Nanda. So which also means happiness. So happiness and more happiness, they both came there personified. So this is how they spoke. Sunanda Nanda Uchatu. Uchatu means two. Otherwise Uvacha and Uchu. So Uvacha, Uchatu, Uchu. There are two of them. So what did they say? Bho Rajan Subhadram te Vacham no Vahita Srunuhu Ya Pancha Varsas Tapsa Bhavan Devam Mati Tripat. So when someone is very happy, then in Sanskrit you say his name twice, or you repeat the invocation twice. If you remember before also, when Kubera came, he also said Bho Bho Kshatriya Dayana. Hey hey. Bho means like you say hey in English, or oh. So they are also saying Bho Bho Rajan, oh king, Subhadram te. So because they are very senior people, and this is a way of speaking, like Kubera also spoke like that, Bhadram te, Subhadram te. Let there be all wellness for you, goodness for you. And hear our words with attention. Avahitam. What we have to say. Ya Panchavarsha Tapsa Bhavan. You are the person who, when you were 5-year-old, you satisfied our Lord. Devam Ati Tripat. So this is what they are telling him. And Tasya Khil Jagad Dhaturavam Devasya Sarangina Parshada Viha Samprapto Netum Tvam Bhagavat Padam. He says that we are the associates of that Lord whom you pleased, who is the Guru, who is the protector of the whole universe, and we have come here to take you to his abode. So they have come to take him with them. So Tasya Akhil Jagad Dhatur Avam. So basically what they are saying is that Lord has asked them to fetch him. And Sasarira Seva Vishnu Padarona Abhikaya. So Subhadram te, all auspiciousness on you. Vishwanath Chakravarti comments that this signifies that he is going to go in the same body. He doesn't have to give up his body. Usually you leave earth, then you leave your earthly body here. This body is earthly, mortal body, and then you go in the subtle body. And then wherever you go, you will get a suitable body there. But Dhruva is a very exceptional case that he went in the same body. So in speciality will be described here. Sudurjayam Vishnu Padam Jitam Tvaya Yat Suryo Prapya Vichakshate Param Atishta Chandra Divakaradayo Grahakshatara Pariyanti Dakshanam. He said that you have conquered, you have become qualified to go to the abode of Lord Vishnu, which is very, very difficult to attain. So it's not an ordinary feat to reach the planet of Lord Vishnu, but it is beyond this material world. So he says that even the Suri, the gods, the devas above, they cannot reach there. These people in the heaven, Indra, Chandra, they cannot go to Vaikuntha, they can only look up to it, but they cannot enter it. And he says that all this moon, sun, etc., and all other planetary systems, they are situated in their own planets and going around it in their own orbits and orbiting it. Pariyanti Dakshina. So all of them are going around it. Surya Sapta Rashopi Yada Prapim Kevalam Adhastita Pashyanti. Even the sages, etc., all these 7 sages, they also cannot reach it. They are situated below and look at it. Chandradra Dakshinam Pariyanti Pradakshini Paranti. And moon, etc., they cannot even look at it. They are only doing parikrama for it. That is the greatness of the abode of the Lord. Anasthitam te pitribhiranyairapi angakarhichit atishta jagatam vandyam tadvishnu paramam padam. And this abode obviously has not been attained by any of your forefathers. So even Brahma, his great-grandfather, has not been there. So he says that this abode of Lord Vishnu is worshipable of the whole world. So you please enter to come there with us. So this is the greatness of Dhruva, because he wanted a place which is more than his own father or grandfather. So that's why it is being said here. Etad vimana pravaram uttam sloka molina upasthapitam ayasmin adhirodhum tamarhasi. Said that this wonderful plane, which is very auspicious, has been sent by the Lord himself to get you, and you deserve to ride on it. So this is the polite way of saying that instead of saying that you climb on it, say that Tum arhasi adhurodham, you deserve to be on it. Ayushman Nityapi Sasarir Agaman Abhiprayam. So they are referring him to as Ayushman, or one who has long life. So again he comments that this also indicates that he is going to go in the same body. That's the significance of Ayushman. So now I want to describe what happened after that. Maitreya said, Nisamya Vaikuntha Niyojya Mukhyayor Madhuchutam Vachamurukrama Priyaha Kritabhisheka Krita Nitya Mangalo Munin Pranamya Sisamadhyavadaya. So when Dhruva Maharaj, he heard these words of Nanda and Sunanda, what he did, that he heard their sweet voice, which was just like honey, Madhuchutam. These people who were servants of the Lord and very dear to Urukrama, he who is very dear to Urukrama, he heard this, so he took bath first in the river, because he is going, so he took bath and then he performed his regular puja, then he went to all the sages who were there and he paid obeisances to them and asked their permission to leave. So it shows his very, very humble character. Although he is a king, he is going, he is more than all these sages. There was no need. He could have said, okay, let's go. The flight is boarding. Right? The gate is open, the light is blinking, the boarding light. So he can just go. So he did not go immediately. He first worshipped the Lord and took permission of everyone. So Niyojya Kinkara, Niyojya here means the servants of the Lord. Madhu Chavte Sravati Pi Madhu Chatatvam. Their voice was very beautiful and sweet, pleasant voice, and these two servants of Lord Vishnu were speaking. Tamadhyavadayat Vasyamasa. So he greeted all the sages. And then what happened? परित्यभ्यर्च्य धिषण्यमाग्रहं पार्षदाभिभन् अभिवन्द्य च एष तदधिष्ठातुं बिभ्रद्रूपं हिरण्मयम्. So then he did parikrama of the plane. So he also gave respect to the plane because this is sent by the Lord himself. And this is the topmost plane. And then he also paid obeisances to the two associates. And then he made an effort to enter into the plane. And as soon as he was doing this, then his body changed. His body is described here as Bibhradrupam Hiranmayam. He became golden. So this is the significance that now his material body immediately transformed into a spiritual body. Right there and then, instantly, just in one stroke. Paritya Vimanam Paridakshanikritya. So first he did circumambulation of the plane. Abhyarcha Gandhapuspadibhir Bhagavad Vimanaya Namaiti Sampurya. Then he worshipped the plane by offering flowers, incense and paying obeisances. Tadeva Swiyam Rupam Hiranmayam Tejabholam Vibhratsam Arubham Echa. And then his body changed. Tadautthana pada putro dadarsantakamaagatam mrityurmurdhni padam dattva arurohadhutam griham. So when he was about to climb onto the plane, then he saw that the death personified has come there. Because everyone who takes birth has to die. Krishna says, Jatasya hi dhruvam mritu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Anyone who is born dies, anyone who dies takes birth. So Dhruva also took birth. Now he must die. He cannot leave this planet just like that. So the death came. So when death came, death said, where are you going, my dear friend? So Dhruva said, the flight is boarding. I'm getting the flight. So he says, you cannot go without me. So he said, no problem. You do one thing. Then the steps of the flight are a little high. And there was no ladder. So he said, you come here. So the death came and says, can you go down a little bit? So he went down. So he put his foot on his head. He says, Mrityur Mudani Padam Dattva. He put his foot on his head and jumped onto the plane. He said, okay, now you can go. So this is how he left. So Mrityur Murdhani Padam Dattva Aruroha Adbhutam. So this is the most wonderful thing which happened. That Dhruva put his foot, one foot on the head of the death, and he went in the plane. And this is how he left the earth and went to Vaikuntha. So in the upcoming verses it will be described how he goes there. We'll read that tomorrow. So this is a very special example of someone going in the same body to heaven. Not to heaven but to Vaikuntha. To heaven, Yudhishthira Maharaj also went. Yes.
What is the significance of going in the same body? Because like this body anyway is changed to spiritual body, and everybody are going in
Just to show that a devotee is beyond birth and death. That is the significance. There's no other significance. Means devotee transcends death, and this was shown practically. Usually devotees transcend death, but still they die. Right? So it is shown that actually they transcend, and even if they are so-called dying, they are really not dying. Because what is the death? Death means giving up the body. They are already detached to the body. So they don't care, they leave the body and go. But here it is literally shown that how, that's why it is said that he put his foot on the head of the death. So there are statements in the scripture which say that Yamaraj, he tells his servants that don't approach the Vaishnavas. Means they are outside your jurisdiction.
You were mentioning how when Dhruva Maharaj was practicing Ashtanga Yoga, he was doing it out of respect for the sages. But what about when he was younger? To please Lord Vishnu, he was also practicing Ashtanga Yoga, no?
No, then he was chanting the mantra which he was given. He did that to control his mind so that he could chant. But now there was no need for that.
So he had matured in
Yeah.
a later stage.
At that time, he just to purify his body and mind so that he could fix it on the mantra. He did that. But now there was no need for that.
Why he did not come here? Why he went to the Himalayas and had to meditate there?
Why he went to Himalaya?
Yeah. Like he could come here.
To Vrindavan? Because it's easy for the plane to land. There was no helipad here. Because the sages were living there, so he wanted to be in the association. Narnarayan Rishi there. So he went there. He wanted company. Actually, Dhruva is not the only one who went in the same body, even his mother went. Because his mother also went in the same body. Prabhu described. So internet still did not come.
It was outside with my mobile. They were fixing something
Who?
there on the other side.
Here?
No, in their place. Zipline people.
So this was coincidental that when electricity went, they also started fixing. They have to always fix when it is my time class.
Yeah.